morning, dear students. We are discussing on the construction of the pavement, wherein we have previously discussed about how the flexible pavement can be constructed, what are the types of stabilization, what is bituminous surfaces, where we are providing it. Our today's topic of discussion would be the bituminous mixes. Why we are providing bituminous mix? Generally, the bituminous material have the binder property, and to enhance that property with more workability, more strength, more durability, and also to make that material very economical, we prepare a bituminous mix. Bituminous mix is aims to produce a mix which is more workable, strong, durable, and economical. Generally, we provide bituminous material sometimes on the base course, sometimes we are providing in seal coat, tech coat, and the prime coat. So, what could be the requirement of that bituminous mix when you are producing a mix? So, let's talk about the requirement of bituminous mix. The first requirement of bituminous mix, that is the stability. Now, stability is defined as the resistance of the paving mix to deformation under traffic load. Two examples of failure that are shoving and the grooving. Now, shoving is a transverse rigid deformation which occurs at areas subjected to severe acceleration, while grooving is longitudinal ridging due to channelization of the traffic. The stability depends on the interparticle friction primary of aggregates and the cohesion that offered by the bitumen. Now, sufficient binder must be available to coat all the particles at the same time. Now, however, the stability decreases when the binder content is increased or the binder content is high, and when the particles are kept apart. So that means if you are applying more binder content, that will also decrease the stability, and also if you apply the aggregates apart from each other, at that situation it also decreases the stability. Now the next, that is the durability. Now durability is defined as the resistance of the mix against weathering and abrasive actions. Now weathering causes hardening due to the loss of volatiles in the bitumen, and abrasion, that is due to wheel loads which cause tensile strains. Typical example would be potholes, that deterioration of pavements, and the stripping. Now, loss of binder from the aggregate, and if the aggregates are exposed, the disintegration is minimized by high binder content, since they cause the mix to be air and waterproof, and the bitumen film is more resistant to hardening. So this is all about the durability. Now the next requirement of the bituminous mix, that is the flexibility. Flexibility, that is a measure of level of bending strength that needed to counteract the traffic load, and it prevent cracking of the surface. Now, fracture is the cracks that formed on the surface. Main reasons of fracturing in the surface, that is shrinkage and brittleness of the binder. Now, shrinkage cracks are due to the volume change in the binder due to the aging, and the brittleness is due to the repeated bending of the surface due to traffic loads. Now, higher bituminous content will give better flexibility and the less fracture. So here we can say that the amount of bitumen, the content of bitumen you are applying, that is more important in its quality behavior. So let's talk about the another requirement of the bituminous mix, and that is the skid resistance. Skid resistance is the resistance of the finished pavement against the skidding, that skidding action, that which depend on the surface texture and the bitumen content. Again here you can see that bituminous content is there, so it is very important that how amount of bitumen content you are using in particular mix. So that is the skid resistance is an important factor in the high speed traffic. Normally an open graded coarse surface texture that is desirable for the skid resistance. The next bituminous mix requirement, that is its workability. Now workability is the ease with which the mix can be laid and compacted, and it can formed to the required condition and shape. This depend on the gradation of aggregates, their shape and texture. Also that depend on the bitumen content and the type of bitumen you are using. Now if we talk about the aggregate, then rounded aggregates improve the workability of the mix. So this was all about the requirement of bitumen. Now let's talk about the different bituminous mixes. There are various types of bitumen mixes with aggregates for the pavement construction. Based on the nature of the gradation, there are few bitumen mixes. Those are classified as dense graded bitumen mix, semi-dense graded bitumen mix, open graded bitumen mix, and the last is gap graded bitumen mixes. So let's talk about the dense graded bitumen mixes. Dense graded bituminous mixes possess the continuous gradation of all the primary aggregates. These particles are packed together. Almost all the possible flexible pavements constructed in the world employ the dense graded bituminous mixes. So here you can see the importance of this bituminous mixes. There are mainly two types of dense graded bituminous mix. The first is dense bituminous macadam and bituminous concrete. Now the dense bituminous macadam is mainly employed for the base course and the binder course. So here you can see that we can apply this bituminous mix on the base course also and at the binder course also. So this mix itself consists two different grading, first grading 1 and grading 2. So if we talk about these two grades, then grading 1 of dense bituminous macadam has 37.5 mm as the nominal maximum aggregate size, that generally being considered as NMAS, while the grading 2 have nominal maximum size of aggregate, that is 25 mm. The fine aggregates percentage in both the grading are same, that is in the range of 28 to 42%. The main criteria that differ the both grading are that grading 1 consists of large size of particles and grading 2 have the smaller size particles. Now the grading 1 with the nominal size, that is 37.5 mm, has many disadvantages like segregation. This segregation will later result in honeycombing at lower air void levels. These mixes become more permeable compared to the grade 2. Next, that is bituminous concrete mixes. The bituminous concrete mixes is used again in two forms, grade 1 and grade 2, wherein grade 1 with nominal maximum aggregate size that is of 19 mm, and in grade 2 that size is 13 mm. The bituminous concrete grading 2 that is very good to be used as a wearing course. The bituminous concrete grading 1 binds the base course as well as the wearing course, but though the grading 2 is most commonly used in the construction of wearing course. Next is semi-dense graded bituminous mix. Now there are again two types of semi-bituminous mixes, that is semi-dense bituminous concrete, and the next is mixed sill surfacing. So let's talk about the semi-dense bituminous concrete. The semi-dense bituminous concrete that mixes have neither dense nor the open graded characteristics. This consists of so-called pessimism voids when they are fully constructed. It is advisable to make the mix get rid of pessimism voids. This tends to capture the moisture or the water that will later cause the stripping. When the semi-dense bituminous concrete is employed above the bituminous macadam layer, there is a chance for penetration of rainwater. This will create the separation of aggregate and the bitumen in the bituminous macadam layer, and this will cause the stripping and the scaling of the bituminous mix. And the scaling later with the time that will result in the potholes on the road. Next, that is mixed sill surfacing. This is an alternative used of premixed carpet that we'll discuss later. Now both the PMC, that is premixed carpet, or this PMC premixed carpet is also known as a premix surfacing. So both premix surfacing and the mixed sill surfacing are employed in the 20 mm thickness. There are two gradation, type A that is closed gradation with nominal size value that is 9.5 mm, and type 2 that is open graded with an nominal size of aggregate 9.5 or the 12 mm. So generally we can consider as a 12 mm, but it is for the open gradation. So this is all about the mixed sill surfacing. Next we will discuss on the open graded bituminous mix. Open graded bituminous mixes have fine aggregates in minimum amount, and hence they are very permeable to the water. They are employed based on specific functions in the base and surface mixes. We have three different types of open graded bituminous mixes. The first, that is bituminous macadam. Second is premixed carpet or premixed surfacing, and the third, that is surface dressing. So let's discuss on the bituminous macadam. In the bituminous macadam, the work that shall consist of construction in a single course, that is having the 50 mm to 100 mm thickness, or in the multiple courses of compacted crushed aggregate. Those are premixed with the bituminous binder on previously prepared base course to the required specification. The bituminous macadam have high potential to attract the water, also the moisture that within the pavement system, and that's why adjacent layer of the pavement that we can consider as a shoulder, that shoulder should have the proper drainage quality to prevent that moisture or the water induced damage to the bituminous macadam. In bituminous macadam mix, the bitumen that to be used that would depend upon the climatic condition and the traffic amount. The natural sand shall not be used in the binder course. The binder content shall be within a tolerance of plus or minus 0.3% by weight of total mix. That is all about the bituminous macadam. Now let's discuss on the premix surfacing. Now the premix surfacing is laid as a wearing course with a thickness of 20 mm as we discussed above. The aggregates are premixed with the bituminous binder on a previously prepared base in accordance with the requirements. In this mix, respect to the climate condition and the climate change and the traffic intensity, the viscosity of the binder material, that is viscosity grade of the bitumen, is employed. Generally, it varies, or it can be either VG10, that is viscosity grade 10, or the viscosity grade 13. If we talk about the preparation of that particular mix, the hot mix plant of appropriate capacity and the type that shall be used for the preparation of the mix material. The hot mix plant that shall have the separate dryer arrangement for heating the aggregates. First you have to heat the aggregate so that if there is any moisture in that particular aggregate, that can be removed. The difference in temperature between the binder and the aggregate that shall not be exceed on 14 degrees Celsius. The mixing shall be thorough to ensure that the homogeneous mix is obtained, in which all the particles of the aggregates are coated uniformly. The mix shall be transported from the mixture to the point of use in the suitable vehicle or the hand borrows. We can say in this particular mixture, the bituminous content that should be by the weight of mix is 3.3%. The next open graded bituminous mix, that is surface dressing. The surface dressing work involves the process of spraying of bitumen or the bituminous binder or the rapid setting cationic emulsion of 1 or 2 coats. This is applied over an aggregate layer of appropriate size and the gradation. The grade of bitumen that shall depend upon the climatic condition. The size of the aggregate that shall depend upon the type of the surface on which it is being laid. Also to the traffic intensity. The surface dressing does not increase, this particular bituminous mix does not increase the structural strength. If we talk about the significance or the objectives of this particular bituminous mix, the surface dressing will provide dust-free wearing course. The surface dressing will help in providing impermeability for water percolation. Also, this surface dressing provides a high friction for the riding surface. This also provides a renewal coat for the periodic maintenance of the bituminous wearing surface. So these all are the significance, these all are the importance why surface dressing can be applied over the bituminous surface or over the wearing surface. So next bituminous mix that can be discussed, that should be discussed, that is the gap graded bituminous mix. In the gap graded bituminous mix, we have one design that is of stone matrix asphalt. The stone matrix asphalt is the most commonly used gap graded bituminous mix. With the increasing traffic and the high pressure of tires, which give the large stresses to the road pavement, with increasing traffic and the high pressure tires of the vehicles, this will give the large stresses to the road pavement, and the roads are subjected to overloading condition in certain cases. The stone matrix asphalt is very tough, highly stable in the structure and rut resistant asphalt mix. This system rely on the stone to stone contact that will facilitate the strength. So if there is a more number of traffics there, more number of vehicles on the road is there, if it gives the more stress to the road pavement, this particular mix will give the strength to the particular surface as it rely on the stone to stone contact. In this particular mix, the rich mortar has to be used, so that will provide the better durability. If we talk about the advantage of that particular mix, then it gives the surface frictional resistance. It also reduces the noise that are produced from the road and vehicle contact while vehicles are moving. The performance of stone matrix asphalt that are constructed in the India has performed very well compared to the bituminous concrete. The cost for some compared to bitumen concrete, the cost of stone matrix asphalt has been found to be 25 to 30% higher. Though it has a higher cost, stone matrix asphalt are used in the construction of the pavement. The reason of increasing of the cost, that is due to its composing material. Those are like cellulose fiber, modified binder, and the binder contains. Because of the use of these high graded materials, the stone matrix asphalt have the higher cost than other bituminous mixes. So this is all about the gap graded aggregates. Thank you so much students for your kind attention throughout the lecture. I hope you all got understand the importance of the topic, the core of this particular topic, the different types of bituminous mixes we are using in the construction of the pavement. Thank you. We'll see you in the next lecture.